So, oh, I'm doing that nervous laughter. Oh dear. Oh, I've been warned. We don't nervous laugh at ourselves. That's what we don't do, Wooby. Old streamers that we didn't like used to nervous laugh at themselves, and we don't do that. So we're going to go straight into the tools now. So we'll start off with the most basic tool, the add tool. The add tool starts off, you click it or you press your key that's bound to it, showing on the screen, and it will bring you with a cube. You will have a little cube, and this cube will place in the world, and it will be whatever texture you've selected. So currently I have this white texture, stuccoed wall, and it's placed as stuccoed wall. We can't see that very easily, so what I'm going to do is, while I'm on the add tool, I'm going to hold control, and it changes the box to blue. So I've pressed control, I can highlight this with control, and now because it's blue that means delete. So we can literally just delete that square we've made. So you can add a square, oh no I don't like that, control delete, gets rid of it straight away. You don't have to go through any of the other methods of deleting. It's a really quick way if you're just building just to add some extra stuff. Hello to Belgarian, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you watching and helping out. Hopefully people can ask some questions if they do want to see specific things as well. So I'm going to select a different colour, so all you have to do is go into your tablet over here, click on the tile, click on this texture icon, and then you've got your metals, your woods, your stones, your liquids, and all of these can be scrolled down using the mouse wheel, and then click across and scroll down if there's more, scroll down, and all of these have textures in. Not all the textures are in game yet, there is a lot to play with though, so we'll go for Tundra Dirt now because it will show up against my white floor. So once again we'll just add a square, there we go, one square, simple as that. So that's our starting block. So if we wanted to start, for example, a wall, we can put another square next to it and another square next to that. Next feature is, one you've got your box selected and out in the world, you can press with the mouse wheel, roll it up, and it becomes bigger. And you'll see up here it now says 27. So what we have is a bigger square. And once again you can add to that. Just need to get the walls aligned, and you can make it a larger. And once again, roll the mouse wheel up again, a bigger size still, roll it up again, and then we have the bigger size, which is that one. So I've built these four big squares now, and I don't really want them. A quick way to get rid of them, just like any paint program, any program on Windows or Mac, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and Control Z again. And that's basically just taken away anything I've done, and it will go back as far as 20 moves, I believe. Ah, Belka said something, and I will mention it because I had to do it briefly when I was doing that. So what we have is the N tool. So when you've got your square selected, you can press the N key, and what happens is it changes the size. So when you have it on default, it will go up in decimals of 3. So it will go to 27, 216, and 1728. When you press the N key, it will start at 1. It will go to 8. It will do 27, and it will do 64. And this is just a smaller scale, and it works on a different math set, so you will be working to even numbers instead of odd numbers. There is a logic to the game that I like to play with that is to work on odd numbers as much as possible. When we get to the selection tool, I'll show you how you can measure that, but if you're using odd numbers, you will have a center point and center points become very important when you want to use some of the other tools, because they actually hold together the build. So if you're meeting two sides at a center point, then you have that buffer zone in between where they meet. Whereas if you've got an even number of blocks on both sides and you're moving them together, they have to meet each other, and there can be some slight errors and things that go wrong when they meet each other. So what we need to do now is just delete this. So I'm going to use the selection tool. So what I've done is I've clicked 3, which is my selection tool. I've clicked the bottom corner here, so I've got hold of it, and I've kept hold of my mouse key. It's not a click and then click to point, so you click and hold down your left mouse button, and then you drag it over the selected area, and you have this item. And what can be done with this is a lot of things. You've got these arrows on the corner. You can click these and they highlight blue when you click them, and you can drag it up and back with that arrow, and then this one should be down and back, and this one should be forward and back. You can also simply click the faces of the selection box, and you can move it in and out, up and down, in and out, like so. One thing I want to show you is what I discovered yesterday. A lot of people don't actually know, because it's not shown as default, is you can press, while hovering over this face, you can press the control key and it will make that face transparent. So wherever your mouse is now will be the face you're selecting. So for example, if I move my mouse over here, you'll see the blue selection has picked up on the far side, and if I move my mouse to this side, now the blue selection has picked up on this side, so I can drag it out to pick up those other blocks. I'll just drag it up so it doesn't delete my floor. This is all still holding control. I'll let go of control and you'll see it'll pop back to this face, so we can move this face again. This becomes really invaluable because a lot of people I see when they're making a selection will start running around the item, and they'll be running every direction trying to get to the, oh, I can't get to the bottom face of the, all I want to do is drag it down. So they haven't got an easy way of dragging it down, and what you can do with control is just put your mouse over where the bottom would be, drag it up and down. Perfect. Saves you moving, saves, if you're in a perfect space for building, for example, saves you losing that perfect angle you've got, and makes things a lot easier. So that was the add tool in its first iteration. What we also have is the ability to bring the add tool out, and you can press the C key on your keyboard and it will create a sphere shape. So as you say, I can place that down and it's in the ground. I will just place a couple, so there's a bigger one, a bigger one, a bigger one, and a much bigger one, and they've all gone straight into the ground by default. They intersect with the surface that you're on directly through their middle as their default. So I'm just going to Control Z, Control Z, Control Z and get rid of those, and then we'll go back to what we can do to move this up. So I'll stay on the biggest circle for now. You can press on the screen, it will tell you the tilde key, which is the little wavy line key. I'm from Europe. I hope most of the viewers who are watching this time-wise are probably from Europe, so I would tell you that for people with QWERTY keyboards, it is the @ key to change this feature, and with people who have ASCII keyboards, it is the U umlaut key, or the O umlaut key on some Swedish keyboards apparently. So just have a look on the forums to check what key it is to change this, but for UK based keyboards it's the @ key, and that will change. As you see at the bottom, it will be flicking between terrain offset and scale, so we want it on terrain offset, and that gives me the ability to use the mouse wheel to now scroll and bring this up to ground level. But I place that down, it's still touching the ground, so what it's done, if you can see, is it's made the ground warp to meet it. So the ground is no longer flat. So I don't want that. I don't really like that. That's no good to me. I want this ball shape. I want it to be up in the air. I want it to be above me. I want it to be like a planet, let's say. So we go to our ball shape, we get it to the size we want, and we simply hold down Shift and press click. And this brings us into what we like to call the tweak menu, or as Omid will call it, the twerk menu. It's really simple to use, really nice feature. So it starts off by default on the axis movement. So what you can do with this is you can bring it up as high as you want, you can take it anywhere, you can scroll it up and down and up and down, left and right, and in and out, like so. So once you're happy with your position, you can also click to go over to size. We can make it a smaller sphere from this menu also, just by clicking and dragging, bigger and smaller. Really simple. Then you just click the tick and way, we have our circle placed in the world. I'm going to leave this here for now because I want to now go on to demonstrate the delete tool, which is the other first tool you get in the game. And once again, this is really simple. So you just press your number that you've got the delete tool on. Mine is number 8, and it will default as whatever shape you were adding as last. So I quickly pressed C there and made it back to a square. So all you do is move the square into the area that you want and click, and it will start deleting small square voxels out of the shape that you want. And when you start with your claim, you can use this on any terrain. This will delete anything, and you can change the size and dig a bigger hole out and bigger holes still, so you can just keep digging to your heart's content. And I honestly, when I started this game, I played with the delete tool a lot. It was a really fun tool just to go around a claim and make some caves. And once again, like the add tool, you can press C and make it a sphere, so you can start cutting out spheres. So this makes slightly more natural shapes. If you are digging a cave, maybe you might prefer the kind of sphere look. And a lot of people I see asking on the forums, why can't I use my pickaxe on my claim? Basically because you don't need to. We've got the delete tool, and it will go to a sphere, and it will do the size of your pickaxe, and you can increase it to a bigger size if you want, so you can have the size of your pulverizer, for example. And that is as simple as the delete tool is. You once again, with this, you can change its location. You can move it up and down with the at key to move it up and down, and change the scales with your mouse wheel. And you can also hold Shift and put it into the tweak mode, and you can move that around, and you can delete sides and shapes with that. So that's a really good little feature, so you can be more specific with where you want to delete it. So, oh no, I wanted to delete a circle but not quite there, so let's edge it across a little bit, and yeah, I wanted my circle to be deleted there. And this is a feature I see a lot with sculpting and terraforming, people using these fixtures. Next tool I want to show you is the heal tool. The heal tool is a tool that's kind of misunderstood a little bit. I think people hear heal tool and with the heal tool they think it's going to redo what they've just done or delete what they've just done. It actually is for retaining the natural terrain. So as you see here, my claim has been dug out of a cliffside. I used the delete tool and dug the cliffside out. I'm not going to take any rubbish. That's nonsense. Your pickaxe can't make better terraforming than the delete tool. It's exactly the same artifacting with the delete tool now as it is with your pickaxe, and all you need to do is smooth the gaps. It's completely the same. This is a basic guide, so I'm not getting into any stuff like that though. With the heal tool, you come back to your space. So as you see, this area